Let's do this video. I'm gonna have to do it a second take. I don't watch wrestling. I haven't watched wrestling since the days of NWO, WCW Nitro, all that stuff. And I realized as I get older that was more of trying to fit in with my grandfather than anything. I've never cared about wrestling. I don't care about it now. I look back at Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero. I look back at those people and their deaths as kind of shocking as a young man, and I'm kind of shocked by some of the events that have taken place. I'm shocked at some of the people who have actually ended up pretty bad. Uh, it's more shocking than it is the actual wrestling ability, as much as they were celebrities in their own right. I was 11 years old, 12 years old, year before my mom died, and so when that happened, my life completely changed. Um, there's a gay black wrestler by the name of Sonny Kiss. I know about this because I've been looking at New Jack and just clips online and just looking at a lot of that stuff. It's a funny guy, but just looking at AEW, looking at different content out there, I came across this cat. Um, there's a lady I follow on YouTube that talked about. She's a wrestler, black wrestler. Talked about homophobia, and she's got into talking about how not understanding why people are homophobic, not understanding why there's this rage against him, and I can get down to business on that one. Um, One thing about growing up in the South and living around rednecks, and experiencing this um wish to remain in the past, and a wish to just be ignorant about science and everything else, is that these people look for stuff not to work. That's the way of the South. Um, the, I think they wanted to present it as this is not a real wrestler. This is not a person that's gonna take it seriously. This is a stunt of some sort, which is wrong, and it's a joke. Um, this female that I follow on YouTube, she's talking about how why do they feel like this? Why are they homophobic? You must understand something, that this is that base, Republican, Trumpian base. This is what they are, and that homophobia for them isn't about some gay camp guy running around with a dress on. That's not what it's about. They have a certain idea of society, and if and society's changing. AEW bringing in a gay black guy is just staying relevant. Period. It's just that's staying relevant. WCW, I think, had a gay wrestler. ECW had a gay wrestler. I can't give you names, but I remember they had gay content back in the day. Uh, those people didn't get anywhere, but I just remember certain things in passing. Um, I looked at this guy on there talking about it, and he was saying that he felt like, uh, this is a stunt. This is not real. That uh, he I guess he was watching. He's following wrestling. He was a guy back in the '80s, and how people hid what they were back then, and it made me think like this guy not knowing the 2000s they had a stunt where these guys were gonna have a pretend gay marriage, and at the end of it they took their stuff off and like making fun of it and stuff. Like, homophobia has been around for a very, very, very long time. It's still around. I think that guy is referring to violence. He's referring to like implicit violence against gay people. It leads me to my next thing I noticed. One of the entrances that I saw, Sonny Kiss came out and someone screamed "fag" at him when the music stopped. And this goes back to the idea of this being their society. Um, Back in the day, 80s, 90s, 70s, whatever, a gay black man in tights that's coming into the ring, that's sashaying around, someone could have screamed faggot and other people would have screamed in it with them. Seeing stuff like that, displays of ugliness like that, uh, they kind of, to me, they kind of speak to how far we've really come, because you expect that kind of stuff. You expect stuff like that. It's like soccer players out in Europe and stuff. People throwing stuff at them, throwing bananas at them, and racist stuff. This is kind of what you expect, and the fact that only one person or two people do that out of thousands, thousands people like that. That shows we've gone a long way. Uh, these guys, I can break down homophobia very quickly in a very, very short past year. The guys that are homophobic, these are the guys who fantasize about brutal treatment of women. These are, to me, homophobia speaks more to how they feel about women than they feel like gay men. I'm a truck driver, and I've been driving trucks for quite a while, on and off. And I know these are the guys we're talking about that would catcall at women, and this, I'll throw her on the bed and snatch her panties off and push my tongue in her mouth, and she's gonna, that's those kind of people. They think any gay man wants them. Period. I don't care if it's some 300-pound trucker that ain't washed in 3 days and sees some gay guy with a dress shirt on and stuff. They're gonna be like, well, he wants me. See, they think they're on the top of the sexual pecking order, whatever, of I can dominate a woman. A gay man, they have the idea that he'll try to dominate me, because that's how they think. That's what homophobia is about. That's what it's really about. And also the fact that society doesn't 110% feel that way anymore. As I said before, the idea of a gay black man in tights sashaying down to the wrestling ring, that would not have been accepted 20 years ago. Unless it was a mark, unless it was some type of a stunt, a one-off stunt, it was something like that, making fun of gay people. Sonny Kiss is a representation of how far society's come. Uh, it's not a negative, it's definitely a positive. I have to say I'm quite shocked to see that. I mean, you have to understand. Uh, you have to understand how bad the South really is. You've got to travel around in the South to see how people really think, how people really are, and to see that it's quite surprising. Uh, it you gotta understand the class, the fabric of the consciousness of those people, those fans. Um, it's I don't want to get into Trumpism and all that, but it goes back to that working class shit. These are bad people. They should be humiliated. We should do this. It's that's really what you're dealing with there. You're dealing with people who have a rage that society is not following their idea of what wrestling is or what society is. This woman I follow was talking about how, why do people care? Like what, like literally, like, why do you care about who that man gets in bed with? There you go. like, why do you care if this person comes up there and does their job? Why do you care about that? Because it represents the end of an era. It was the end of an era. That him being accepted for who and what he is a repudiation of uh that era. That makes sense. I don't know. I went on too far here. It just surprised me to see that. It's a positive. It's a step forward. Not a wrestling fan. It's not what I want to do. That's not my interest. But one thing, socialist. when you look at society, you look at societal changes, and you look at is society ready to move forward on certain issues. That's a big part of it. I mean, this blackouts we had in Texas a little while ago. Are people in Texas going to choose people who are going to make them more prepared going into the future? I'm not just referring to that particular, but I'm referring to all of the possible problems of climate change, increased drain on the power grid and stuff like that. It's the same thing to be a socialist. It comes down to society moving forward, and it comes down to pushing the Overton window, and that's it. It's got to be. It's like Michael Brooks put it. As a socialist, when Marx put up, workers, you know, workers writ large, whatever you call it, that wasn't a moral statement. Like those aren't moral statements. As a socialist, they're always going to have the power. They're always going to have the money. They're always going to have the media. They're always going to have the security forces. They're always going to have those things that uh, the people is all you're going to ever have. Class conscience is all you're going to ever have. Getting people to understand, like, hey, we shouldn't have constant war. We shouldn't. Social change is the only thing we've got. Period. And not screaming about transgender bathrooms and shit like that. Let's talk about Flint water. Let's talk about stuff like that. It's got to be social consciousness, uh, and I don't know. Seeing a gay wrestler, I think it's a big step forward, uh, on that path. Um, thank you for listening.